Call this meeting to order. Councilwoman Fulbright, would you deliver the invocation for us, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the wonderful blessings that you have bestowed upon us. And help us, dear Lord, to realize that we are a blessed people. Help us to remember those who are less fortunate than us. Be with the lonely, the elderly, those standing by the wayside. Protect our troops overseas, dear Lord, and bring them all back home safely. We ask all these things in your name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fulbright. Next order of business is roll call. Ms. Britton.
Bill Anglin.
Here.
Bill John Baker.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzard. Julia Coates.
Here.
Bradley Cox.
Oh, honey.
Joe Crittenden.
Here.
Jody Fishenkopf.
Here.
Meredith Braley.
Here.
Janelle Fulbright. Here. Don Garvin. Chuck Hopkins Jr.
Here.
Donna Glory Jordan.
Present.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
Chris Soap.
Here.
David Thornton.
Present.
Eric Allen Watt. Honey. We do have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Next order of business is approval of the November 10 regular session meeting minutes.
To be approved.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion on approving the minutes? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Minutes stand as written. Next order is State of the Nation, Principal Chief Chad Smith.
Good evening. It's my pleasure and honor to appear in front of you for the State of the Nation this Monday, December 15th, 2008. It was a great movie for this time of the year. It's a Wonderful Life. I think in the opening scenes it talks about there's a discourse between angels in the heavens, and they're talking about all the prayers they've heard on behalf of George Bailey. And one of the angels asked the other, "Well, what's wrong? Is he sick?" The other one responds, "No, it's worse than that. He's discouraged." With the holiday times, it seems that there's great things happen and there's sad things that happen. And tonight, I want to relay a number of those who have passed on this evening. And certainly their families need encouragement at this time that they feel so discouraged on the eve of a holiday time. And those who have passed this month: James Arnold Deckard, Deborah K. Kelly, Robert Peters, Dorothy McCullough, John Tommy Vaughn, William Sanders, Sarah Irene Cochran, Carol Butler, Mike McConnell, Lily Grass. Do members of the council have others they would like to acknowledge at this time?
We lost a public servant in Rogers County, Sham Coppinger.
Anybody else? So this time, if we will, take a moment of silence. No. This month we have 4 veterans to honor, and they're all Marines. First, there's a young man that we'd asked our Deputy Chief Joe Grayson Jr. to come and help present because he has a special place in Joe's heart. Stuart Grayson, his son, joined the U.S. Marine Corps the summer before he began his high school senior year. He received his basic training in anti-tank assault training in San Diego. Stuart was the pistol and rifle coach for the U.S. Marines security force at the embassy in London. Stuart obtained the rank of corporal and is the 4th in 4 consecutive generations to have served in the military. Stuart, if you'll come forward.
And his mother. Oh, it's too late. Stuart and your father are very bad. We realize that this award, you earned this award. It is not given. And we thank you for your service. We thank your mom for letting us have it.
So the word.
It's an honor. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Charles Plunkett served his country in the U.S. Marine Corps. During his service, he was the commanding officer of an A-6 aircraft, operations officer of the largest aircraft group in the Marine Corps, maintenance officer, and as head engineer at the Naval Air Systems. Mr. Plunkett attended 5 schools, including the Naval Flight School, Marine Corps Amphibious Warfare School, Aircraft Accident Investigation School. He served 3 tours aboard aircraft carriers Midway, Coral Sea, and American, and made more than 500 day and night carrier landings. Mr. Plunkett retired from the Marines in August of 1981 as a lieutenant colonel. He is currently a member of the C&I Board of Directors. Mr. Plunkett, if you'll come down, let's acknowledge you.
Cherokee National Medal, Okay, this is an award you have earned, sir. It's not given. Thank you very much, sir.
Appreciate it. Appreciate being part of the Cherokee Nation.
If you'll say a word, please.
Yes, this is an extreme pleasure for me. My great-grandmother came over on a trail of tears from Georgia, lived till she was 113 years old, so my mother knew her very well, and you don't think about those things until later in life, and you start thinking, well, how can I repay a little bit? I'm not paying very much, I'm going to say more, but I do try and learn more about the Cherokee Nation as we go on. It's a little hard to do over in Pennsylvania and once every other month here, but it makes you feel a lot better knowing you're surrounded by former friends and existing Cherokees. So thank you very much, and I've enjoyed my life in the military. 22 years of it flying airplanes, that's what I like to do, so it was a pleasure doing that. And I even talked my nephew into doing the same thing, which you'll find out in a little bit, I guess. So thank you very much.
Leighton Plunkett joined the Marine Corps while at Southeastern OSU and was commissioned upon graduation in 1985. He completed his basic officer training, earned his wings in 1989, after which he reported for duty in California. He was later assigned to one tour of duty in Japan. He later was deployed aboard a naval ship bound for Southwest Asia and Africa. During his deployment, he participated in operations in Somalia, Kenya, Rwanda, and the defense of Kuwait. Mr. Layton retired in 2006 after 20 years of service and now resides in South Carolina and is a simulator instructor. Mr. Layton.
Sir, give us great honor to present you with the Cherokee National Military Certificate. We thank you for your courage and your service in the U.S. military. Well, it's a little crooked, but...
We'll get it.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Well, thank you, sir, for your service.
Chief. Thank you.
Say what, please?
Well, it's an honor to be here with each and every one of you and sharing this great occasion, particularly from the Chief and Deputy Chief and the council members here. So it's a pleasure to be with you and serve this wonderful nation and our country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Here.
Shade Hannaford from Tulsa enlisted in the Marine Corps in 2001 as an infantry Marine. After basic training, Shane was selected to a surveillance reconnaissance platoon where he was a team leader. Shane has served in 2 deployments in Southeastern Asia theater of operation. He spent 80% of his time in Iraq. While in Iraq, he experienced 4 roadside bomb attacks. He was injured during one of these attacks and had to undergo multiple surgeries. Shane received 13 awards and medals, including the Purple Heart. He achieved the rank of sergeant. Mr. Hannaford, if you'll come down, let us recognize you, sir.
Sir, it is with great honor and pleasure that we present you with the Cherokee National Medal of Patriotism. We thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
Courage, sir.
Thank you very much.
Care to say a word?
Thank you very much to be recognized by the tribe, the chief and deputy chief. This is truly an honor. It's not a whole lot that veterans get recognized by the community as a whole. They do and they don't, but to be recognized by family and friends in the tribe, I'm very appreciative, and this is a great honor. Thank you very much.
This last week, in terms of legislative update, Secretary of State Melanie Knight and I had the opportunity to, with 20 other tribal leaders, to meet with the transition team for the Obama administration on reviewing the stimulus package proposal and trying to brief the transition team on things that we thought was important to Indian country and the Cherokee Nation. I think we had some success. Our ultimate goal is to have a set-aside for Indian country proportionate to our population, and for the United States government to expend those funds in a government-to-government relationship through our self-governance and self-determination process. Also, since we met last, in the Cherokee Nation, we've always believed that when the lands were allotted at statehood, it did not divest us of our government rights that had been preserved in 23 prior treaties. Some of those rights include hunting and fishing rights and water rights. Several weeks ago, there's a lawsuit pending in the Northern Federal Court, Northern District of Oklahoma. It's a pollution lawsuit brought by the Attorney General of Oklahoma. The defendants are 6 poultry companies located in northwest Arkansas. That industry came to us and advised us they were going to file a motion to dismiss a case on some procedural matters, under which the theory was that the state did not own the water, but the Cherokees did, and that litigation could not proceed without the real party in interest being in the lawsuit, that is, the Cherokee Nation. So we've anticipated these issues for a number of years and engaged for legal analysis over the last few years. And in the next couple of weeks, we'll be making decisions on whether this is the lawsuit to assert those water rights. And as it progresses, we'll keep you advised. But for those who are interested in moments of history, this issue is one of those. The last time we had such a significant issue on the table was over 100 years ago. So the attendance and the processing of this opportunity in litigation is something that's of great importance to us, and I will keep you advised. In program updates, last month the Cherokee Nations were hard at work implementing our commitment to jobs, language, and community. Our commerce program coordinated with an entrepreneurial day at Sequoia Schools earlier this month. Students got a look at how successful businesses operate. The Cherokee Nation's Financial Resources Group won for the 7th year in a row the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This award is given by Government Finance Officers Association and is the highest form of recognition in governmental reporting. And so we should all have confidence and appreciation for that, because we cannot run a government without a sound and effective financial system. So we owe Callie Ketcher and others a great debt of gratitude. Our health group's cancer program won a national award from Sea Change. They were awarded the Tribal Organization 2008 Exemplary Tribal Organization for comprehensive cancer control implementation by Sea Change. It's a national cancer organization. The award was presented to our Deputy Principal Chief by George H.W. Bush at a ceremony at the George Bush Presidential Library. The group commended us for our smoking cessation and smoke-free workplace initiatives. Our Tribal Employment Rights Office held a Cherokee Nation Awards for outstanding Indian-owned businesses event the last couple of weeks ago. The recipients included Indian Art and Frame, Southwest Litho, RC Sales, Springwater Fence, Meridian Associates, Hart Sports Center, and Equicorp. Our Community Services Group is working with Marble City's Birds Flat community on a water line. Charlie Soap reports the group had about a dozen volunteers last Saturday, and the project is going well. Federal Emergency Management Institute held a special training in Maryland for our tribes in Oklahoma. Cherokee, Creek, Osage Nations participated in the 5-day training. Cherokee Nation's emergency management team should be congratulated for their hard work during the Oaks tornado and previous winter storms. And I believe some of those folks here, Diane Hammonds was there, Marshall, Sharon Wright. Who else? Is there anybody else in the... Okay. Our good councilman from Delaware County, Curtis Snell. Was there any other staff here? Sammy Rusco. So we had 7 in attendance, is that correct? 11. Okay. I will apologize, I was unable to attend the swearing in of our new Tribal Youth Council last week. Are they in attendance? Okay, I guess because of the weather they couldn't make it tonight. Our Heritage Center has a new atrium and entrance that's open. The renovation looks great. Encourage everybody to go out and see their new look. Cherokee Nation contributed $38,000 to the Zoe Institute. It was a very pleasant environment, an event. They were having a celebration of Christmas for their single mothers and children. And it was a delightful exercise because they had a room set up where the children could go pick out presents for their parents. And it made it a special, touching event. Hastings Hospital employees are showing their holiday spirit by holding a food drive. Cherokee Nation Casinos are collecting coats for children and elderly this winter, as well as joining our employees with helping families have a happy Christmas through our angel tree. This Friday at 1 o'clock, our employee Christmas party will be held at the place where they play. And council members, you're certainly welcome, and we hope to see you there. We had an official welcome home ceremony for 8 Cherokee Nation, CNI, CNE, and Heritage Center employees serving in the military. Youth choir auditions will be held on January 13th. You can contact Kathy Sierra here at the Tribe's number for information. The Veteran Center needs construction volunteers. If you're interested in helping with this new project, please contact Avo 5-Killer here at the Tribe's number. And basically the building that we anticipate building is on the tennis courts. But it too should be an exercise where we can actually show our appreciation to veterans by actually going out and building the building ourselves, like our community help buildings, our water lines. And when we invest our time and energy, it's no longer just a building. It's a living monument that we can each appreciate and share with each other. And so in closing, in that there was many reasons to be discouraged this month with those loved one passing, we've had lots of opportunities to be encouraged. And probably one of the highlights of this last week is a young Cherokee man who's an outstanding athlete, outstanding academician, carries himself in all the great traditions of a Cherokee young person. He acknowledged his pride in the Cherokee Nation when he won the Heisman Trophy. And so we all are encouraging Sam Bradford not only to carry himself through the afterglow of the Heisman Trophy, but to go ahead and take the next step and win the national championship on January 8th. So it's been a delightful time for him and the press that followed him. But I think we can turn to each one of our youth and say, you know, there's a young man who can do it. We each can and should. So thank you very much for the opportunity to appear.
Thank you, Chief Smith. Next order of business is take action of unfinished business, and there are none pending. We'll move on down to the monthly committee reports. Mr. Baker.
Madam Chairman, at this time I'd like to amend the agenda to add item 17. It's a resolution authorizing the Cherokee Nation Environmental Programs to submit a formal grant application to the U.S. Department of Agriculture Solid Waste Management Program. Make that number 17.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on amending the agenda?
By acclamation.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That will be item 17. First monthly report is Mr. Sutherland, Housing Authority.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Brief report this evening. Housing Authority's regular board meeting will be tomorrow evening in the Eileen Hogner Administration Building Conference Room. Excuse me. The meeting begins at 5:30. One of the agenda items is a discussion on what the board would like to see done with available unrestricted funds from past operations. That would include proceeds of sale that have accumulated over the years. The board will also discuss the possibility of designating all our unused land that we have as excess property, and the reason for that is over the past few months we've had several folks inquire about a lot here and a lot there, and when they do, then we have to take it to the board and get them to declare an excess property. So if they go ahead and declare that up front, it'll save us time. We'll be able to react much quicker to the request. And we have made Natural Resources and Community Services aware of all the excess property we have, and they've actually used some over the years. So if they see something that they want, then we won't sell it. We'll always make it available. The board will also discuss the Fort Peck case. I think Mary James presented some information this afternoon at the committee meeting on Fort Peck. If you have any follow-up questions on that, just give me a holler and I'll be happy to discuss it with you. If I don't see the council before Christmas, you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and hopefully I'll take a couple of days off between now and the end of the year and see you all next year. But that's my report for the evening. If you have any questions, I'll sure try to answer.
Questions or comment from Mr. Sutherland? Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Next report is Sean Slayton, Cherokee Nation Enterprises.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Dave couldn't make it tonight, and he asked me to stand in for him. Financial report for the month of October, we continue to see a soft trend out there, and we anticipate that continuing through the month of January. Normally our seasonality begins to reverse itself in February and October, and we feel like with the economic conditions that we'll continue to see that trend over this next 2 months. Contributions to the nation beyond the dividend that we paid were $100,000 for the month of November in our taxes collected on retail operations. Our expansion projects, about 3 o'clock this afternoon, we opened the doors to the new gaming floor there at Catoosa, and it's really nice, and welcome you to come up at any opportunity that you had. We didn't have a fanfare or anything. It was just a very soft opening, and we'll do more later when we open the other facilities there. It's very pretty. They wanted me to note that one of the unique aspects of it is that the center bar there that we've opened, that bar top is solid ice, and it's unique to the Tulsa area. Our construction team continues to work the punch list at West Siloam, and we're currently working on Phase 2. The demolition will begin this week on the existing old casino there, and we anticipate finishing in May or June with Phase 2. We donated 259 items from the old West Siloam Casino building to Cherokee Nation Housing Rehab Department. That included bathroom fixtures, lighting and handicap accessories, personal lockers, chain link fencing, hot water heaters, ceiling fans, utility sinks, and emergency lighting. Our current employment is 33,399. The percentage remains high at 58.7% Cherokee and Native American 11.4% for a total of 70.1%. Management level is 59.4%. Cherokee and other Native American is 8% for a total of 67.4%. Chief Smith mentioned that we supported the Angel Tree. We adopted 500 children, and additionally we donated $20,000 for any unadopted angels. And that concludes my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Are there any questions, comments for Mr. Satan? Yes, Dr. Cobb?
What's the difference between, on page 2, what's the difference between an applicant and an active applicant?
Well,
in your database, what's the, as far as how your software spits the numbers out, what's the difference between an applicant and an active applicant?
I'm going to have to guess,
Okay.
Brad, but I would think that an active applicant might be one that, did you know?
Yeah, I do.
All right, she knows.
Time you want to come forward?
I got back up tonight. Thank you.
The active applicants are the ones that continue to be in the system over and over again. We keep them for a year amount of time. The others are just new applicants that we have coming in the past 30 days.
That's what I was going to say.
Any other questions that someone else can answer for him? I guess not, Sean. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I would like to add that one of the good things about working here is getting to meet all the young people. And Stuart Grayson wasn't only a good Marine, but he's a good CNN employee, and he's got a good future. He does a great job for us. And don't tell him I said that. He bailed out.
Next report, Cherokee Nation Industries, Brian Collins. Good evening, Brian.
Good evening, Council. My report tonight, even though it's brief, I do want to make sure and wish the Council a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year if I don't get to see you. Our next board meeting is tomorrow in Stillwell at 2 o'clock for those on our advisory board, as well as any of those that like to come. Recent events, things that we've been participating in, the Stillwell, Tahlequah parades. Employees also were involved in the Angel Tree program again this year, and we supported 53 children through that program. Let's see here. Financials, we've closed out November, and November also was not as attractive numbers such as October. We had a loss of $391,000, and so that gives us a year-to-date loss of $694,000. Some of those issues that we see, we're still chasing the bonding. We're still trying to position ourselves for bonding, and that's been a very difficult task. We are hoping that will be something resolved shortly. We do have an underwriter that we're working with, so we're hoping sometime in January to have that sealed. The bonding, because of the construction issues, we've had just in a budget shortfall of $2 million versus our budget in revenue, which is around the construction issues. So we know that once bonding's in place, we'll be able to participate more inside the construction area. Other areas is economy, such as for telecom. We're still seeing a downturn in that area. Visiting with AT&T and our telecom customers, we're seeing that as an impact just in like I say, construction was $2 million, and this past month it's been over $1 million in reduced revenues. Revenue shortfall for the month, $4.4 million. And just from the standpoint, a lot of it around just the economy, things that are changing. Things that we have also noticed that...
Mr. Collins,
yes.
Excuse me, Ms. Callan Watts, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I thought that the bonding issue had been taken care of, so that kind of concerns me. Where's it at?
Bonding has been on the number one priorities for us, and C&B supporting it. A lot of it is the underwriters coming back and asking for a full waiver of sovereignty, not a limited. And we've been negotiating to try and position ourselves without having to go back in and ask council for a full waiver. And we feel like that we have an underwriter who will do that, but it is just taking time, because basically the underwriters they'll come back with a proposal, not really even a proposal, they're just collecting information. And something that we hoped to have in place a month or two ago, again, looks like it may be another 30 days. And so, I don't know. I don't have a good, clear answer to say it's going to be right here. We're just trying to show the financials, the strength of the Cherokee Nation, and trying to get an underwriter to position themselves that they'll take on tribal business. And it's been, the credit market, as everybody knows, is tightened up, and so they're being very risk conscious. So C&B's helping lead that with us. We're participating as well as C&B.
Save my other questions for tomorrow's meeting. Thank you.
Okay.
Continue. Thank
Okay.
you.
Process improvements are still being made in aerospace and defense. They're ongoing and slow. We're working on institutionalizing them to reflect the impact of efficiencies. A lot of those areas are just working on implementing technology and adding things to try and reduce costs. Actions that we've been conducting is focused strategy sessions to analyze our costs that can be reduced without impacting growth strategies. Also focusing on improving profit margins in certain areas of the market that we feel like that we can improve in. So those are some of the issues, and we can, like I say, tomorrow, I know we have E&F tomorrow, we can drill in some more if we need to. Native American employment is 87%. Local employees, there's 432. So that's my report. Is there any questions?
Any questions? I have one, Brian. On your shortfall on revenue, does work in process, will that help alleviate any of that? Your work in process, does that relieve any of the revenue shortfall when it's shipped?
Basically, we probably have a pretty steady flow of work in process. I mean, currently, within aerospace, there's probably contracts that go out to 2013. So we have a lot of backlog within that. Work in process, I would say that there is work in process constantly on the floor, but it's probably not fluctuating month to month in any significant, that significance.
Okay.
Okay?
Any other questions? Thank you, Brian.
Okay.
Next report is Cherokee Nation Business. Hi. Would you introduce yourself?
Good evening. Yes, my name is Jay Calhoun. I'm a director with CMB. Unfortunately, Mr. Carson couldn't be here tonight, but he wanted to pass along his sincere regards and appreciation for the opportunities that he's had here with the nation. And we look forward to having him back once he safely returns home. But during the period of transition, we have been active in continuing our number of projects, including working on the paperwork that continues with our allocation of new market tax credits from the federal government. Also of primary interest may be the Cherokee Nation Waste Management Company that was formed. The new cell is scheduled to open up in late winter or early spring. In addition to that, some good news that we received recently. CMB was named Tribally Owned Company of the Year by the American Indian Chamber of Commerce of Oklahoma. And I had the pleasure of accepting that award on behalf of the nation, our family of businesses, and our thousands of team members. So that definitely goes out to the entire nation and to our entirety of our businesses out there. My report's pretty brief tonight, given the circumstances, but I'd be happy to ask any questions that I can't answer.
Any questions? Comments? Yes, Ms. Calhoun-Watts.
Thank you. Jay should have told you he is a tribal citizen originally from Salisaw, and he has a chemical engineering degree from OU, the wrong school, but
Do what I can.
and he has a tremendous resume that he comes to us, and so I think he's one of those folks that we should be excited about employing because he's representative of the ones we talk about that at all levels Cherokee citizens can be represented within our companies, and I'm glad that Jay's on board.
Thank you. Pleasure to serve. So.
Thanks for being here this evening.
Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Next order of business is new business coming out of the Community Services Committee. Item 1 is a resolution submitting a grant application to Health and Human Services. Mr. Soap.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a grant that will continue to maintain and expand programs in our 14 county areas that geared towards providing counseling and programs where family violence has occurred. It'll provide for parenting counseling as well, enhance our emergency youth shelters and those types of things. It's in a $100,000 application to continue that contract. I move for approval.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion is approved. Item 2 is a resolution submitting an amendment to the 2007 Indian Housing Plan. Mr. Soap.
Yes, with your and the council's condolence or letting us do this, I would like to bring forward these items in toto. There's items 2, 3, and 4 on the agenda, and they cover the 2007, 2008, and 2009 Indian housing plans. And so I would move to approve those plans.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor of approving item 2, 3, and 4 in toto signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Out of Resource Committee, item 5 is a resolution authorizing donation of a rain gauge unit. Ms. Calhoun-Watts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is our environmental group would like to donate 2 surplus rain gauges, specifically Belfort rain gauge units. And this would go to the Tribal Air Monitoring Support or TAM Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'd make the motion to approve.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 6 is a resolution submitting a grant application to the Environmental Protection Agency. Ms. Calhoun-Watts.
This is an EPA grant or application for a grant for Intertribal Environmental Council or ITEC Superfund program to train other tribes. And I would like to make a motion to approve with the following amendment, that it actually be in the amount of $180,000.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Out of Rules Committee. Item 7 is a resolution confirming the nomination of Kimberly Gillivan to the Education Corporation Board of Directors. Mr. Baker?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. This is confirming the nomination of Kimberly Gilliland as a board member of the Cherokee Nation Education Corporation, and she isn't present tonight, by the way. And also, I would ask for the approval of items 8, 9, and 10, which are resolutions confirming the renomination of Shelley Butler Allen, who's present, and Benny Smith and Marilyn Watt to the board of the Cherokee Nation Education Corporation.
Second.
And I make a motion we approve all 4 of these to the board.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Would you like them to come forward, Mr. Baker?
Would y'all like to stand? Kimberly and Shelley? Does anyone have any questions of them? Okay. Thank you.
All in favor of approving 7, 8, 9, and 10 in toto signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 11 is a resolution confirming the renomination of Kyle Haskins to the Cherokee Nation Supreme Court. Mr. Haskins.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This renominates Justice Haskins. His term ends at the end of this month. I'd move for its approval.
Second. Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 12 is a resolution confirming the nomination of the 5th Election Commission member. The Tribal Council chooses and approves 2 commissioners, and then the Principal Chief submits for approval to the Council 2 commissioners, and then those select and we approve a 5th commissioner. And that person is Brenda Walker. Is Brenda here this evening? Yeah, there she is. Would you stand, please? I would move for the approval of Brenda Walker to the as a 5th election commissioner.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Did you want to say anything, Brenda?
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Item 13 is a resolution establishing procedures for procurement of attorney fees. Ms. Fishinghawk.
Yes, this is just a housekeeping measure that came out of our budget process, and I move for its approval.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I would suggest a friendly amendment. I think, Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, but was there an oversight? Did that one line need to be deleted?
Yes, in the first therefore clause, or resolve clause, the last line needs to be stricken. That line is, there will be a $5,000 limit without prior approval of the council. That line needs to be stricken because of this was the old amount, and with the new budget, there's a new amount, so we don't need that line.
You accept, yes. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Out of Executive and Finance Committee, we have item 14 is an amendment to the 2009 budget. Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is Budget Mod 2, which increases the budget by $3,472,000, which includes spending authority for cancer, diabetes treatment and prevention from the tobacco surtax carryover of $2,045,000, cemetery preservation fund from the motor fuels tax carryover of $100,828, plus the revenue from the tobacco tax compact of $1,821,000, increasing our budget authority to $489 million. And I would make a motion for its approval.
Second. Moved in second. Any discussion on the budget mod? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Acclamation. Okay, item 15 is a resolution authorizing matching funds for a grant application to the Department of Treasury. Mr. Baker.
Yes. This is a resolution authorizing matching fund grant of $180,000 for Cherokee Nation Economic Development Trust Authority to set up a Credit Builders Individual Development Account program, which will help 100 of our citizens to save up to $500,000 to apply towards their debt. And I make a motion that we approve it.
Second. Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 16 is an amendment to Title 68 for tax rebate for licensed tobacco retailers. Mr. Hoskins.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, a month ago we passed approved a compact which contained a number of provisions. One of them contemplated that we would rebate to certain retailers certain taxes paid to the tribe. Those, of course, being the border shops, which have historically had difficulty in terms of competition at the border. This legislation does that. It gives effect to that provision of the compact which authorized Cherokee Nation to rebate certain of those taxes. Now, I would propose approval not of what you see in your packet as item 15, but an item that has been a document that's been passed around to the councilors, an amended version of that. What this does is identifies those retailers that would be eligible for the rebate to be those who are both border shops and those who have historically been considered border shop between agreements between the state of Oklahoma and Cherokee Nation, the so-called exception shops. So what you see in front of you has some strikeouts and some inserted language which I think ensures that we allow this legislation to evolve and grow with the understanding between the state of Oklahoma and Cherokee Nation as to what is a border shop. And in that regard, Madam Speaker, I note that the governor issued a letter on Friday which gave some insight as to what the state's position is on some of these so-called exception shops. I think if we pass this tonight, we can ensure that we ensure the viability of these border smoke shops and allow this understanding as to what is an exception shop evolve. I think there'll be additional discussions between Cherokee Nation and the governor as to what an exception shop is. But let's pass this tonight and we'll have this rebate on the books and we can move forward. So with that, I'd move for approval.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Mr. Thornton?
Madam Chair, due to the governor's letter, I hadn't got to see it. And this other act that's been brought forward, I hadn't really read it over. I have a concern about our non-border shops. We're not addressing those. And I think we need to table this motion and bring it back and put it in front of us so we can just lay it all out and see what's going on and let us include some of the other shops maybe and maybe not. And also if these shops can show a loss, well, we need to include them. And that's mainly my problem with these. Thank you.
So the motion is to table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of tabling this item for until when, Mr. Thornton? And how long did you want to table it for? Did you want to table it back to Executive Finance?
Like I said, maybe set a meeting tomorrow so we can bring this back up at the next council meeting.
Okay.
Executive Finance.
Everyone clear?
Rules or whatever we'd have to.
Point of information, Madam Speaker. So would this be tabled to our existing Executive and Finance meeting tomorrow? Is that what the councilman is?
Yeah, I think that's what I understand.
You have to refer it back to a committee or you table it.
We got jobs and it's just an example.
Any other discussion, Mr.? Oh, the motion is to table. It's not debatable, but are we clear as to what we're tabling? Mr.
Madam Speaker, if I may, actually, the motion should be styled to refer back to committee because he said he wanted to put it back into the Executive Finance Committee meeting tomorrow. So the motion is to refer back to committee. It's still not debatable and not amendable and requires a majority vote.
All minds clear?
No.
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 Okay.
Are we tabling back to the committee or back to the
Executive and Finance Committee.
And will it be the Executive and Finance meeting tomorrow?
Yes, that's what he recommended. Any other questions?
I'm sorry, Madam Speaker, I was distracted too much.
No, I just wonder if you're clear as to what we're doing, tabling
Are we
to back till tomorrow.
You're distracting. Then
Second
I was
Finance
not as
Committee.
distracted as I thought.
Referring it back. Yeah. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Roll call. Yes is to refer it back to committee tomorrow.
Julia Coates?
Yes.
Bradley Cobb?
Yes.
Joe Crittenden?
Yes.
Jody Fishinghawk?
No.
Meredith Fraley?
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright?
Yes.
Don Garvin?
No.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.?
No.
Tina Glory Jordan?
No.
Curtis Snell?
Yes.
Chris Soap?
Yes.
David Thornton?
Yes.
Eric Cowan Watts?
No.
Bill England?
No.
Bill John Baker?
No.
Jack Baker?
Yes.
We have 9 yay, back to ENF, and 7 no.
9 to refer back and 7 no. Motion carries. Where are we now? Item 17 is the one that was added covering the Superfund program, and Mr. Crittenden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This resolution would allow the Cherokee Environmental Programs Group to submit an application to USDA for solid waste management grant. The principal focus is to provide 3 communities within the Cherokee Nation with collection events. They will provide tribal citizens the opportunity to properly dispose of this household hazardous waste. And this is a $60,000 grant. There's no match, and I would move for approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next order of business is announcements. Do we have any announcements this evening? No announcements? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Same sign. Motion by Peter, isn't it?